friends that have been here this weekend supporting. And what a weekend we've had here. Over 17,000 here, Rusty. It's been incredible, and it's one of those weekends where we're kind of jealous we couldn't sit up there on the hills with them. It's been a great day to wheel up the Barbie.
Can't we get a Barbie? And I'll leave you to commentary, mate. I'll just go and watch from the hill, park the car up. Right, we need to take a look at this field of play. Here's Michael Clementi with our hot lap for you.
Okay, good day everybody. Welcome aboard car number 15 at sunny Phillip Island. Here we have our hot lap coming down the main straight. I actually love this track. I think it's one of the best in the country. Turn number 1, my absolute favourite corner. You pitch it in there quite fast. At the moment it is wet and I'm on slicks and it's a brand new car and I don't want to break it. But here we go into turn 1. Usually you're real nice and sideways through here. TCR cars are brilliant through there. I love it. Into turn 2 we go. Another fan favourite for me. It is sketchy as in a TCR car, but it makes it brilliant. What a great scenery. Over there you got the beautiful ocean, Phillip Island. Coming down here, you just fly through the gears, pitch it in here, nice and stable. And then you're hard on the brakes into the, ultimately what is the first passing corner, which usually is a whole lot of excitement in TCR. Everyone loves this corner. And up through the, oh, she's pretty wheel spinny. Down into Siberia. This is a pretty technical corner. It's highly underrated, I think. It leads you onto this fantastic back straight. As we come through here, flying up the gears. Have a listen to this beautiful Cupra. Through the hay shed, now into what is probably the scariest corner other than anything corner of Bathurst, up to Lukey Heights. Plenty of fun. You get right up here, car gets super light. Usually you're floating around down into the next major braking corner. Super tight, second gear stuff. And you're looking for a really, really clean exit out here. Generally there's a short shift through there, bit of oversteer. Coming onto the last corner. This is where you need a really good run on so you can get a great run down the straight. Fortunately, I love this corner, so it works well with me. And then there you have it. Good day, everybody. Have a good time. Thanks for watching. Cheers.
And the Carl Cox Motorsport driver is having a good time. Won a race today, joined the winners list in Super Cheap Auto TCR. He'll start on the front row alongside Josh Buchan, Bailey Sweeney, series leader, beside Ben Barguana after a brilliant performance in Portugal. Jordan Cox has somehow saved 2 wild rides here this weekend. A debutant in Brad Harris, who was on pole for race 2 earlier today. Cody Garland alongside Zach Suter, who's just told you he's got good tyres for this one. What can the champ do? What about Tom Oliphant in that beautiful new Lincoln Co? And Will Brown, until earlier today, had no points in the bank. He's got 28. He is bottom of our Super Cheap Auto TCR ladder. Can you believe it? The revised points heading into the final one for the weekend. Bailey Sweeney on top with 212, 21 clear of Aaron Cameron. Jordan Cox is third. Clementi's climbed to 5th. There's a few other stories. Tony D'Alberto has dropped to 9th.
And a lot of work to do. Will Brown would have not forecasted this when the car wheeled out at Simmons Plains. As the cars are locked into position, waiting for the green flag at the back of this field, and there it is. 14 laps. Our final race in the Shannon Speed Series at Phillip Island for 2023 is go. Good start from Josh Buchan. Once again, the Cupra gets away. Not so at the back was Cody Garland in the Valvoline MTA entry, so he'll have to do the chasing. As down to turn number 1 we go for the first time. So the front 2 get a good margin. Back to Barguana into the southern loop. That's Jordan Cox on the outside. Bailey Sweeney making the move in the second HMO Customer Racing 930s. The hatchback, but the sedan leads us on Bass Straight here on lap 1.
They had a lot of the bodywork on the front of Bailey Sweeney's car off in the last couple of hours, working on trying to improve it for this final race to preserve that championship lead. He's a little defensive at the moment. Smart bit of driving from Bailey Sweeney, who had the elbows out a little earlier. Jordan Cox. You're right aboard the Peugeot now. That's Ben Barguana. Ahead of you, Burson Auto Parts entry. So it's a Hyundai from a Cupra. Couple of Peugeots Very different line from Jordan Cox coming through Siberia. Will Brown on the charge, fighting with Lockie Manif. That's for 8th place.
And from 13th, if you don't mind, the Liquid Molly Audi set to thrill here in the first lap of this race. Across the top of Lukey Heights. Where is he? There he is, still side by side with Lockie Manif just behind his Zach Suter. So both Audis having a better run here this afternoon. Tony D'Alberto with Brad Harris just behind, who scored the fastest lap in the earlier race today and got 1 championship point next to his name. That's good to see. We'll stay side by side here with Oliphant and the Lincoln Co. Auto Glimp car for Ash Seaward Motorsport. 1 lap in the books. It's Buchan, Clementi, Bargwanna, your top 3.
Tell you what, Harris, not daunted by Oliphant, who's a 2-time race winner in the British Touring Car Championship, stays in front of him. Little wild for Tony D'Alberto. What's going on here?
Back to live shots coming out of Southern Loop. Put our attention there for a moment. He still runs back there in 10th position. Leaders on their way down to Miller Corner. Honda hairpin back in the day when it first opened. There is D'Alberto confirming. There he is on the screen. The Suter just ahead. How's your heart rate?
Oh, yeah, well, I mean, it got my attention, that's for sure. Brown with some good sectors popping up. Fastest in the first sector. He's up to position 7 now in the Liquimolli entry. There he is, our inaugural series champion, ahead of a string of Audis. Manif, Suter is there as well in the new generation car. Now that was a little replay there of Tony D'Alberto before on the warm-up lap. So
at least you know the tyres are up the temperature. Through they come again to complete another lap. So
timing's lighting up for Brown, isn't it?
It is. Up to 7th position. Big mover already. And he'll have some tyres to play with as well. Remember, he retired early in race number 1 yesterday. At the end of lap number 2, good battle pack forming here for the miners. There is the Liquid Molly Audi that Jay Hansen drove last year in the hands of our 2019 series champion, Will Brown. But Buchan, Clementi and Bargwanna, as they started, 1st, 2nd and 3rd. Jordan Cox up 2 positions into 4th. Aaron Cameron stays in 5th. Bailey Sweeney drops down 2 spots. Might be 1 now because he's going past Aaron Cameron through Southern Loop.
A little bit of a lock break, a puff of smoke from Will Brown, who's closing on that pairing. Nice move by Bailey Sweeney. Not easy to get by Aaron Cameron. In the Eve Valvoline Peugeot, it's Josh Buchan leading the way by just under a second from Clementi, who's had a great weekend here. Massive support for Michael Clementi from friends and family. Bargwanna is 3rd. He's pushing on with it here, Josh Buchan.
Really loving these drone shots all weekend. Gives a completely different look of the Phillip Island Grand Prix circuit. Hosted so many great races over the years. And hosted many more here today in the Shannon Speed Series. Although the 13 cars look light on paper, we're stacked with quality drivers and cars out there today. Hence why the gap's only a couple of seconds covering the first 5 cars. Jordan Cox running back in 4th position. It's Bargwanna ahead, who's about to step on a plane once again and head to Belgium for the next round of the TCR Europe Series in the Spa-Francorchamps circuit over there. That will be cool. Love to hear his feedback when he gets back from that incredible course.
Little handwritten note there. Happy Mother's Day. Nice work, Jordan, who got a good run out of turn 12. 215 k's an hour out of there, and maybe got a fraction better drive than Bargwanna, and that helped him at the end of the Gardner Straight, where they're in 6th gear at 230 k's an hour. Now they weave through turn 2. Brown again taking an aggressive entry there, trying to sneak up the inside of the Peugeot. Not quite close enough.
Buchan controlling the race. Clementi, great debut. I'm sure Carl Cox will be loving this as well. These two making this deal happen last year. Looking to expand the team as the season evolves. Turn 1, doing corner. What's happening here?
Oh.
Brad Harris coming in hot. And does he keep it out the gravel? Yes. Good recovery on what's been a Great start up until that point for the man in the Honda Civic Type R.
Was there a helping hand there or on his own? So drops to the rear of the grid. Quickest lap belongs to Will Brown, 1:38.501. Cox defends Sweeney. Cameron still ahead of Brown. Good run from Brown as he comes through 11. See if he can line something up here on the Gardner Straight. Doesn't matter what you put underneath Aaron Cameron. He said to us earlier today, loves qualifying in the S5000, but when it comes to the purity of the racing, the fun of the racing, this is the category he's enjoying. Super Cheap Auto TCR.
Extremely underrated, isn't he? For jumping from an S5000 car to one of these.
Mega in go-karts. He was a star in our first season of Super Cheap Auto, wasn't he? He got a more or less a Rising Star award for his performances at the wheel of a Golf GTI. A little wonder he's been picked up and is a part of this operation. Back to the Schaeffler Peugeot of Jordan Cox. Picked up 2 spots already. Head of our series leader. D'Alberto, a bit of an improvement. Couple of spots from his grid position at the start of this one. Thought we might see more speed, more of a gain from Oliphant in the Lincoln Co. Not so far. We're off to a very different venue, as you know, Matt. Next time out, Winton. Wonder if that will be a layout that might be more conducive to seeing the Lincoln Co. up front.
He was good on Friday in practice in the Auto Glim entry. Of course, first look at the island in one of these cars regardless. Man has spent a lot of his career in the UK. Drove for the famous West Surrey racing team, who've had the best drive for that team over the years. Of course, Wollongong home these days and loving his time in Australia, loving his time in Super Cheap Auto TCR as well. He was warned about the weather conditions coming down here. Someone sold him at the river on that one. An unbelievable weekend weather-wise. Said on Friday that it was going to be fine all weekend, then it rained late in the afternoon. We're going, yeah, we'll forget the weather reports. But since then, it's been absolutely stunning.
Barring a little fog, and once that lifted, it's been beautiful, hasn't it? So Sweeney still in the chase as they come through turn 1. Brown with the most spots gained in this race so far.
It's kind of come to a stop though, hasn't he, behind Suter, who's made up 3 positions. That's one that got away for those guys too. They were very strong during qualifying yesterday to put the team Suter Motorsport, the tough lift racing car, on the front row, I should say. Great showing here last year. Team from Geelong, or Ocean Grove, out on the peninsula near Geelong. Privateer team, but man, they know how to get these cars around a racetrack. Shane Suter, great on 3 wheels in sidecar competition. Come across a video the other night, Rusty, of him racing as far back as 1985 in Adelaide.
Wow. On
a sidecar. Brave, brave man.
I'll be pretty happy at the moment at HMO Customer Racing. The renowned engine builder, Rob Benson, was recruited by them, wasn't he, Matt, in the last sort of 18 months or so? A guy with an enormously successful CV when it comes to engine work and running cars. Tom Walkinshaw Racing, HRT, I think Hyundai World Rally Team is in there. Time, of course, in the States, in NASCAR. Good signing. And it was when we saw he and Josh Buchan for coffee this morning, other than figuring out what they were going to do with clever use of the rubber, and I think we saw that in race 2 where we didn't really get the best from Josh Buchan. He stayed out of trouble, made sure he'd be on the front row if he could for this final race. Got some good rubber up the sleeve for this one, and they left a good car alone fundamentally, didn't they?
Yeah, he was part of that golden era of Aussie motorsport, wasn't he, back in the 90s? It's potentially another podcast, maybe, one day.
Agree. Agree.
Lap 7 of 14, Buchan, 1.6 seconds clear of Clementi, and the fastest lap of the race on the previous lap, 1:38.42. A couple of tenths quicker than the cars around him right now as he controls this race. In car with Jordan Cox, 4th position. Working the gears on these paddle shift gearboxes down at the turn 4 Miller corner. Change of direction back into Siberia. Aptly known, if you disappear off there, well, that's where you end up. Nothing but water the other side of that spectator mound.
Told our pit lane team prior to the start of the race that they thought they might have unlocked a little something. So maybe it's starting to really show now for the Schaeffler Peugeot of Jordan Cox. Here's Brown. 8th place. Suter is ahead. So Zach Suter closing on Aaron Cameron there. So the progress from Suter. We'll just keep an eye on Brown if that's the case. It was Brown and Cameron going at it for a while there, wasn't it? So
he's already making impressions on the 110. And I think Suter's pulling away a bit. And Lockie Manif can see the Liquid Moliarty getting closer now. The Melbourne Performance Centre car. He's got his supercar engineer Tom Moore on the radio.
Strong combo that, isn't it?
Very strong combination. So much so that they pushed each other to victory at Sydney a couple of years ago to break through for Erebus Motorsport. Came back this year looking for another title and also to keep himself racing. That's the key. Keep yourself behind the wheel of a race car, and that showed today with Cooper Webster and S5000 how much stronger and confident he looks now after travelling over and racing in Europe.
Little doubt it's been a tough weekend for Will, but he just loves driving. And hence the reason why he just, you know, probably a bit like his stablemate at Erebus in Brody Kostecki variety. There's a lot to be said for that, isn't there? If you can get your hands on, and as Aaron Cameron's been doing and driving an S5000 and driving in this class as well, gives you a little something extra when you come back to the setup sheet, the discussions. Might think about a little different approach just from that seat time in other race vehicles.
Beneath going massively wide at the top of Lukey Heights, trying to reel in Will Brown. Tom Oliphant's still in 10th position now. Garland and Harris, so they must have had a little bit of contact down there at turn 1. They're some 12 seconds away from Tony D'Alberto as Buchan comes through to complete the 8th lap of this race. He's got this car absolutely sorted out. Oliphant now is reaping the benefits of that mistake from Beneath at the top of Lukey Heights. So the Auto Glim Lincoln Co car, a joint deal, if you like, from the Geely Group and Volvo. This car ran with the Cyan Racing team in the World TCR late last year.
That DNA is so strong, Matt, so good. So it's terrific to think that we're adding to the offering here in Super Cheap Auto TCR. A lot of noise around the Cupra as well of Michael Clementi. So it'd be worth following whether we perhaps end up with a few more of those down under. Wouldn't that be a good story? And those latest generation cars, when you look inside them, the build quality of the Lincoln Co. and this one in particular, you can just tell as the generations change in the TCR machinery. Beautifully built car.
Yeah, and we're all going to remember too, we had to press pause on life for nearly 2 years. It was hard to get cars out here. We came in with so much momentum at the end of 2019. We had big, strong grids, but of course everyone took that hit in 2020. And now with things seemingly being back to normal, we're starting to see the World TCR show itself on the international stage. Later this year, we'll have a whole fleet of cars come out to race, not only at Bathurst, but at Sydney the weekend before under lights. That's going to be mega.
Should say well done to the team from Ryco as well, who took a chance on a young man called Michael Clementi. They're back and supporting him with this mission in the Cupra. And to Carl Cox as well. It's nice to think that someone of his stature would get behind a young racer in Michael Clementi. Great work. This is the Auto Glim entry, run by Ash Seawood Motorsport, with the Brit now based in Wollongong, south of Sydney. In New South Wales, Tom Oliphant driving that one. Continuing to eke out a little bit more from that tough lift entry is Zach Suter. Closing in on Cameron in 6th place. He's up 3 spots, Zach Suter. Now, our provisional round podium, we're not there yet, but our provisional round podium would be Josh Buchan with 131 for the weekend, from Michael Clementi with 124. He might be on the round podium in 2nd, and Ben Barguana doing another rock-solid job off the back of his drive in Portugal in 3rd.
Suter makes the move but runs wide. He runs wide at turn 4, Miller corner, so all that effort to reel in Cameron has come up short and loses at least six car lengths coming out of Siberia. He'll need to regroup with 4 to go at the end of this one.
Hard to get that when you're up against someone of you know, of Aaron Cameron's stature. It's not easy to recover that. Back we go to Bailey Sweeney. He's provisional 4th for the weekend. If he can find, maybe move up a couple of spots. Who knows, might challenge Ben Bargwanna for 3rd for the weekend. Need to see how it shakes out. Only a few laps left to go. Super Cheap Auto, TCR Australia.
Has Clemente got anything here for Bucket maybe? Or did he use it all up in race number 2 today? Stay with the field coming through. There's Cody Garland, again 12th position. He ran the Valvoline MTA Renault Megane last year, but steps into a Peugeot for his 2nd series tilt. Bargwanna and Cox in the Peugeots down here at Southern Loop. We're in car once again with Cox onto Bass Straight. Not the watered version, but certainly the straight that runs alongside it. For this fast sweeper on the hard brake down here. 2nd gear, the car dances and squirms. Saw Bargwanna's name get large through the windscreen, but powers away down here to Siberia. So, battle on for the 3rd position, not done with yet. Cox may sneak up onto the 3rd spot in the latter stages. And a weekend that started off really bad in qualifying, didn't it? Several offs down at Dewan Corner, ultimately went off at Southern Loop and found himself 13th and last at the end of Astron Tech qualifying.
Just uncharacteristic, wasn't it? And it probably more about his driving skills, Matt. He's you know, if you go searching online, you'll find some great videos of his front-wheel drive racing career. He's been in some high horsepower rear-wheel drive machinery of late too, Jordan Cox. So he's another one who's trying a few different kinds of racing, but he had some good saves here this weekend. But this has been the smoothest performance of the weekend we've seen from Jordan Cox so far.
I'd love to see him in a Trans Am car with his car controller. What we saw today.
Wouldn't take much arm twisting, I reckon, Matt.
He too loves these turbo hatchback cars. Was at one point held the lap record in under 2 litres at Bathurst, Sydney Motorsport Park and Wakefield Park as well. Known for that amazing pass at the top of Skyline many years ago.
It's got a crazy amount of views, I think, that video, hasn't it? So it was pretty good on the streets of Adelaide one year too, for memory, wasn't he? So we were all chatting about that. Back we go. This is the weight up. We can tell you that Josh Buchan has just over a second, and you feel, Matt, like the completeness of Josh Buchan as the racer has been on show here a couple of times this weekend with some good decisions made. Car's been smooth, the inputs from him have been good, and he's not trying to overdrive the thing. He's got margin on Clemente, just managing.
Absolutely. We saw a shot in the background of how calm Bass Straight is out there. It's like a pond, flat as a tack.
You go for a swim and let me know.
No chance. Shark Alley extends from the rocks out the back here, right across the Eyre Peninsula.
People of Phillip Island will be upset with you.
I'm the kind of guy that won't get in the ocean because I know a shark will appear out of nowhere.
It is beautiful. Seriously, it is beautiful here at the moment, considering we are May. But we're about the frenetic activity of Super Cheap Auto TCR, and with only a couple of laps left to go, Jordan Cox not close enough to Ben Bargwanna at the moment, but they'll have to pull the pin if they're going to try and make a little bit extra. Now, Jordan Cox is 8 points shy of a round podium.
And 2 laps to go. He'll need to be the shark now.
The puffs of smoke from Bargwanna's car.
Not the first time we've seen that. Car's ahead, just pinching the brakes. Well, goes wide. That's the invitation that Jordan Cox was looking for, but he recovers in that Burson Auto Parts Peugeot and pulls away once again.
1.5 to go. Just hope everything is okay with that Burson entry. Just a couple of little things caught our attention. It's been a great drive from Ben Bargwanna, as we said before, provisionally 3rd for the weekend. We'll confirm those round podium results for you. One thing's clear, Buchan's had a superb weekend. Pole position, victory in race 1, came through for a good points haul from 10th on the grid after that race win, when we inverted the top 10 for race 2. and then started this one from the front row again. Didn't think this car would be, it's the newer generation car. They're still learning lots about it. He thought it'd be around about 5th for the weekend, but it's been a stronger showing than that, hasn't it?
It's been great. And he'll have one lap to go this time by for Josh Buchan, who's not only starred out on the track, but certainly in the commentary box. He's been a busy boy as part of our Stan Sport coverage of the Shannon Speed Series. But now the HMO customer racing driver heads down the Gardner Straight and starts the last lap. Clementi holding down second. Easily the best weekend. If you recall 12 months ago, they were on target for a really strong result, maybe a podium in race 2. But it ended up being a DNF with overheating issues with that car. The debut of the Cupra, well, they'll tick all the boxes, won't they?
Been a big commitment, Matt. There's no doubt about that from everybody down there, from Carl Cox Motorsport to Michael Clementi's family and team, and certainly from Melbourne Performance as well. But you've got to say that the decision to go with it, a new make, the new generation. We have had a SAG Cupra in the field before, but this is the latest spec, the latest generation. The decision to do that absolutely vindicated.
Tim Brook was the last one to have a steer. That was at the Ben Motorsport Park finale back in 2019. Another handy steerer too, Tim Brook. So they worked their way through the last half of the lap now. A race that's been controlled by the 27-year-old from Sydney, former New South Wales Formula Ford champion. He won the Bathurst 12-hour Formula Ford Festival race back in 2019. But really at home now at HMO Customer Racing. And Rusty, with 2 turns to go, it's going to be pole position and 2 race victories for the man called Josh Buchan.
Wasn't all that long ago that HMO Customer Racing decided to give this guy a test. His addition to Super Cheap Auto TCR just keeps getting better year on year. For the second time this weekend, your pole sitter for the round is going to claim a race win and will take out the round in Super Cheap Auto TCR Australia. Well done, Josh Buchan, and everybody at HMO Customer Racing. Michael Clementi, they will be cheering there. A race win earlier today, second in the final one for the weekend, and second for the round. What a debut in that new car.
Top 3 covered by 2 seconds, the first 7 by 5 seconds. Close racing all weekend, but they weren't going to catch this guy in a completely different league as he gets a chance to take in the sights of Phillip Island one more time on the cool-down lap. Josh Buchan wins 2 from 3 at the island.
You'd argue too that Ben Bargwanna, this international experience is absolutely helping him. He's grown, gone to another level this weekend. 3rd in the race. Here's your race results. Final one of the weekend. Jordan Cox ends up 4th in the Schaeffler Peugeot, ahead of Bailey Sweeney. Will confirm the championship standings for you, but he was the points leader coming in, and he's driven smartly in this one, which should help preserve that, we think. D'Alberto, what a tough weekend it's been for the man with number 1 on the door. Came in 2nd in the points race and has dropped a swag this weekend. Wow.
12 months ago, he left here as the series leader and did not lose it from that point. Work to do for the Honda Wall Racing team when we head to High Tech Oil's Race Winton as the sun sets at the end of this massive 2 days of the Shannon Speed Series. Here are the highlights of race number 3, the finale of Super Cheap Auto TCR Australia with the Hyundai and the Cupra. Not a good start there for Cody Garland, who managed to get going the Valvoline Peugeot, but dropped to the tail of the field.
Garland would ultimately finish in 12th. Josh Buchan set sail, and with him went the race 2 winner in Michael Clementi. Good start in the Seat Cupra. Ben Bargwanna continuing all that growth, that knowledge, that great racecraft that he built on in Portugal just a few weeks ago. In 3rd position, Sweeney with the championship lead in mind. This was a wild ride for the newcomer to the championship in Brad Harris through turn 1. Big speed down there, 230 k's an hour. Up in front, Buchan set about building the lead over Clementi. Bargwanna settled into 3rd position. He would be untroubled on the run to the flag. HMO Customer Racing. It's been a good outing, a good hunting ground at the island for Josh Buchan.
Great weekend as the cars make their way back into the Shannon's pit lane. Jordan Cox didn't know which way to steer back into the garage. I think he'd be happy with the turnaround of that car. It was evil yesterday during qualifying, but manages to score a big chunk of points as we go down to pit lane one more time. Here's Chris Stubbs.
Nice embrace between Jason Bargwanna and son Ben Bargwanna, and fair enough too. Congratulations, Ben. A fantastic weekend, wrapping up a massive few weeks for you.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm so stoked. So I'm trying to get my helmet off, but yeah, I'm so happy. The team's done an amazing job. The bursting car was amazing all weekend. Look, I'm just so happy.
And a final word before you head to Spa.
Look, I love you, Australia, but yeah, can't wait to come back.
Well done, mate.
Thank you.
Speaking of great weekends, what about the weekend for Michael Clementi? He's got his fans here. What do we think about Michael Clementi? Yeah, he goes all right. It has been an awesome weekend, and he's got the smile here and all the support, mate. Welcome to our series, to the Cupra.
Yeah, no, well, bloody hell, it's been a while. Yeah, just, we got the car on Friday. It's been a mega turnaround. Just so many thank yous, to Carl Cox, my team. Happy Mother's Day, my partner out there, happy birthday. I just want to say thank you to my team, all the sponsors. I don't know, it's incredible. Thank you.
Outstanding. Well done, mate.
Cheers, thank you.
And we'll move on past to Josh Buchan, who, coming into this weekend, was not all that sure how he would go, and he has gone very, very, very well.
Yeah, we needed that. That was excellent. I really wanted race 3 there. Race 1 was obviously good, pretty comprehensive, as was qualifying. But yeah, I really wanted to back it up in race 3 and show that, it wasn't a one-off. So there's still a long way to go with this car, but we're in the mix.
You came into this weekend 8th in the championship. This weekend has been key for you, hasn't it?
Yeah, certainly. No secret, last year this round cost me the title. So Phillip Island owes me one. It was bad to me 2 years in a row. So I'm very happy to be at one with the island this weekend.
Go and be one with the podium, mate.
Thank you.
Great weekend for Josh Buchan. He'll stand on the podium very, very soon. And championship-wise, it puts Jordan Cox up in a second spot now, 22 points behind Bailey Sweeney, who manages to hang on to the lead here. But how tight is that battle? Second, third, and fourth with Cameron and Buchan. Clementi is now 5th with Bargwanna. Lockie Manif, Cody Garland, Tony D'Alberto is 9th, and Tom Oliphant is in 10th position. Well, while we're wrapping up here at Phillip Island, you better buckle up for one of the most famous and thrilling events on the motorsport calendar. Don't miss an adrenaline-charged moment when former champion Aussie Will Power and New Zealand Scott McLaughlin try to add their names to the Borg-Warner Trophy in a race at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, the legendary Indy 500, exclusively live and on demand right here on the home of IndyCar, Stan Sport.
The NTT IndyCar Series drivers head to the racing capital of the world for the chance to achieve racing immortality. Watch as the tradition continues for the greatest spectacle in racing, the 107th running of the Indianapolis 500.
Sunday, May 29 is going to be enormous over there at Indianapolis, Indiana. The 107th running of the Indy 500. A man who loves that race just like I do is Richard Crail. He's down there with the podium.
I love the month of May, Matty, and what a month it's been here at the Phillip Island Grand Prix circuit. Time for the Shannon Speed Series podium here at Phillip Island for race 3, round 2 of Super Cheap Auto TCR Australia. Presenting the trophies to our top 3 drivers, Mr. Lee Sung-do from Kumho Tyre. In 3rd place today for Burson Auto Parts Racing, how about this for Ben Bargwanna?